And welcome everybody. Duff TV action here, UTAS Stadium. You're with Aaron Roberts. It's the NTJFA STJFL representative game. It's the biggest day of the year for youth football in Tasmania as these two competitions go against each other. The STJFL won last year's competition as Bingham straight away into the action. Weldon loses possession of the ball. So really exciting. Wonderful conditions here at the home of football in northern Tasmania. Startling sunshine, a little bit of rain Friday, but it's completely dry out there. And a little bit of a later start today to allow the Duffettes cover the running race this morning. So the ball just on the outer wing. It comes rushed out for now. Dick in there first. In fact, that's Cornish. I've got to get my binoculars out. 7 and 1's a fairly similar font here on these uniforms, and got a ball held up. So the STJFL looking to go back-to-back in the Girls 17 competition after a little bit of a drought for a period of time. They've steadied the ship. The boys, which 4 or 5 years ago was a pretty competitive race, has been mostly dominated by the Southerners. As players clashing the ball, as Midgley was late, and then the ball spills out of Ward's hands. And I reckon that's going to be an advantage as the STJFL stream forward. A high ball up towards half forward. McConnon was over the top with a hand. Back at ground levels, Wilkinson. And we'll have, no, the ball's still alive here. Handball back out towards McConnon again. STJFL with numbers. Clever handball to Ward. She steadies on goal. It's sneaking to the right-hand side. And we've got Martin Duffy having a break. Joining us in the commentary position, Duff.
Great to be here, Aaron. Beautiful day in Launceston after that inclement weather yesterday for the footy down in Hobart. But you've turned it on up here in the northern end of the state.
Milne just dropping it. It's a second opportunity. The ball's been turned around the corner. Still in play. Another touch for Ellie Ward. Long inside the forward 50 line. Dangerous spot. And then a quick shot on goal, and we've got the first on the board, or as it floated across. Well, that really did lose some impetus as it rushed away from the goals. Lee Johns. Back to Harper. Harper tight in the pockets. Actually snuck it through. She has. What a start. Lily Harper pushed up deep into the right pocket. And here we'll see on the replay. So this kick initially, I thought that was actually tracking a goal, but the shadows of the pocket put me off a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I like the yellow ball.
How's this? A great little handball. And Lee Johns' snap was smothered, but Harper went back again. She had no right to kick it from there. That's a wonderful start.
Instinctive goal there by Harper and the STJFL. Who are you going for? I mean, I'm going for the South. I'm just going to be very open on this.
An independent observer,
all the way.
Being an employee of AFL Tasmania. Ava Rawson in the middle. They needed to stem the flow here. Done with a relieving ball. Up to half forward for the first time for the NTJFA. Wayne looking for a string of handballs, but the pressure at the moment from the STJFL is enormous. Barr then lays a tackle. Just a little bit stationary here, the NTJFA's players. Often is the case, Duff, they're out of position, aren't they, when they come into these games? They play in different spots than they do in club football. It's now moved towards the pocket, and we'll have a throw-up. How was the running race?
Oh, the running race was exciting. There was today in the 10 kilometre. It was, the half marathon. The quickest time in Australian history was set by the female winner.
So the fastest 10Ks?
Yep, ever on Australian soil.
Yeah, right. Wayne on her knees, and number 4, Martin, comes over the top from Huonville.
Yeah, no, it was really exciting. Beautiful day down there, just down the road. Now we're here for the footy. Living the dream, we are, Peachy.
Well, you've got the more mature Duffette on the camera at the moment, and Jerry Martindale, the best pots and pans man in Tasmania, doing the replays and scores. 22nd year of Dave TV covering youth and junior football across our wonderful state. Punch forward by Rigby. She played in the gala days a few weeks ago. Probably has a role to play at different stages on the ball. Dangerous kick. It's out wide. Weldon gets it first. Now support comes from Midgley. And they grapple for the ball on the ground. Around about 13 degrees, hardly a cloud in the sky. What's a good thing about compared to yesterday? Absolutely no wind. And duff, the peach and duff. It's a strange combination, isn't it?
Yep.
The loose ball.
I thought you were going to call me loose.
Yeah, Darn at the back of the pack. Just dropped for a second. I thought Atkins had it, the VC. That could be holding the football. The umpire raised his hands in the air and said play on. The ball loose at ground level. Pressure now on the STJFL to be calm. Jumpers tag 360. That is holding the ball or incorrect disposal.
Yeah.
What a wonderful tackle by Wayne.
Nice bit of umpiring there. He let the earlier one go on and then paid the free kick that was definitely there.
So Wayne's not a lot of preparation with this kick. That is extremely casual. Maybe lucky. Gosh, he's passed it. How's that? And Maggie Chen, the half forward for the Devils this season, the coach leg, who I think kicked 2 goals in her first game, can take a grab. I've been heard that at training, Maggie Chen in the coach leg training. She's been clunking them over her head. So dangerous forward. Spins around. And she's got things going for the Northerners.
Oh, that's what we want to see. We want to see a nice close game here, and the Northerners getting their first goal on the board for the afternoon.
So a couple apiece here in this representative game. It's a decent tackle. This is the problem with the jumpers, isn't it? Some of these girls, their jumpers are a little loose. It's really easy to grab, isn't it? Yeah. The old style coach would say you tuck your jumper in, Duff, wouldn't they?
That's right, yep.
Harder to grab, but that was a good tackle, and this is the finish from Maggie Chen. Very calm, and obviously she's gone through this routine quite a few times, 3 steps, and had no trouble in getting that goal. And possibly Arnold could have just closed that down a little bit. We're back in the middle. Arms in the air was Cornish. Shoveled ball out, pinched out of the pack by Bingham, who's had a couple of touches early. She'll get her own ball. Ball doesn't always bounce the way you want as Weldon comes in. Another player dragged on that shirt, and it's a sling tackle and a free kick.
Great to be here at UTAS on the big full-size AFL ground. I mean, we get around from Queenborough to Boyer down to the Channel ground, but nothing beats coming to what a lot of people would say is the home of football.
Well, home of football in the north, definitely. Lovely new grandstand going straight across there on the eastern side of the ground, and the south in the northern end as well. Brand new grandstand there coming up.
Nice, getting ready for our AFL and VFL sides that are on the way in about 4 or 5 years' time. Peachy, they'll be running out here. Yeah. Running down into the new stadium in Hobart. It's going to be wonderful for Tasmanian football.
Ruck contest, centre wing. Players grappling for the football. Haberley was there first. Chen there second. She gets knocked off the football. Then the ball lands on a lap and she's on her back, and the umpire says no chance of getting rid of it.
So you know these players a little bit better than me. So we've got some Devils girls running
around here
today.
There's a few 16s in here as well. Obviously, very few of the coach leagues girls will be able to play in these games. They've got limitations on how many games they can participate in. Maggie Chen's kind of in sort of on the underage player, obviously, in the team. That's a good handball. STJFL getting involved now. McConnon. And a ball up there.
And, of course, at this age, you just want to play as many games as you can. But, of course, I think, the new approach is keep it sensible. You can't play 2 games a week.
Well, it's a little bit. A lot of these kids play other sports too, so we've got to work in with the other sports.
Okay.
So we try and think there's probably a max limit if you want to maintain fit, because you're obviously training as well. So it's all a bit of a balancing system. That's a high ball, and it's a good mark taken by Ward. Gee. Evie Ward's been outstanding today. We've got a number change on Sophie Mead too. She's 28 for those that have got a program somewhere and might be listening in. O'Rourke juggling it. Then support comes again from a teammate. McConnon, probably best on ground at the moment. Not a bad option. Just get the ball moving forward at times. Martin at the back of the pack. It's a good kick from Martin. Great vision to find a teammate further afield.
A little bit too far out here. It's a big ground, as we know. She's just going to pop this one at the top of the square here.
It's a decent driving kick. It's just gone to the right in the last minute, and tracking it down was Hardy, but she couldn't get her hands on it.
Yeah, Ariel Connell that was. Been watching Ariel's progress with the footy over the last few years. She's a real gun player. Look out for her today.
Yeah, coming through the pack, unopposed, but it went to the right-hand side, so A couple of missed opportunities for the STJFL. The ball's kind of getting stuck, isn't it, at the moment, Duff, in one half of the ground, which is, I mean, it is quite a lengthy venue.
You could nearly have played across the ground today. Just put the little goals just down in front of us. What do you think?
Well, no, we're giving off. The girls need an authentic ground to be playing on representative football.
Oh, gee,
you can't be putting the Auskick goals up.
It is the biggest ground in Australia, even with the boundary that came in about 5 metres.
Yeah, the width of the ground is a challenge, isn't it? The ball gets spread and you can flood and all those things that you enjoy.
Well, they're not flooding today. They're playing the zones.
No, they are playing the anti-density at the moment. You can see the girls are adhering to the anti-density rules with STJFL. We've had about 7 years of that, and NTJFA year number 2. High ball up, hands high, and now it's on the ground. Sokolowski had a chance, the second juggle, but couldn't quite bring it in.
Just a bit of a lull over the game at the moment. Players just sorting themselves out.
There's a free kick off the ball here, yeah. So the umpire was right on the spot there, just the two umpires today. Chen at ground level, looked for a teammate. She slung it out. It didn't favour anyone. Pushing through was hard, and then she's taken to the turf.
Caught with the ball, according to the umpire.
So numbers in front here. It's a little clogged for the NTJFA. Ground level's good for the Southerners. Barr was first to it. Bingham now collects herself, steadies and drives it up towards half forward. It's a good option from her, but then it's been repelled by Haberley. And that's probably pushing the back, just missed by the umpire. Really contested stuff at the moment as both teams endeavouring to work out their systems.
Gorgeous day for football. Any wind? I don't think there's any at either end, is there, Peach?
No. Is there actually even a sock here? They've taken the sock away.
Oh,
That's
no, there it
disappointing.
is. Just in the
Background
background over there.
Oh, that is going. There you go.
A little bit across the ground, not favouring any side.
Burt stands back up. Pressure applied by Murfitt. Off the ground was Witt. Chen, now Witt again. She slipped through her fingers. Murfitt a second time. Tunnel ball at the moment from the NTJFA. Now there's a chance to steady. High ball forward. Back into the square. Waiting underneath of it. And Stevie LeJohns with a great defensive mark.
Yeah, nice steady mark there by the full-back. And she's just going to clear here for the South.
Might be rushing back again. That might be a free kick. I think the umpire saw a push in the back, and it'll be a free kick here for the South. So I'm not sure Maggie Dick was too impressed by that one. We'll see here in the replay. It looked like, is that the tunnel?
The old bit of tunneling,
yeah,
as they call it.
I didn't see that as much.
Well, we don't want to see that at all, Peachy.
But it was certainly something that was in the game 5 or 6 years ago. High ball up towards half forward. Jay Atkins was in front spot. Another from Wilkinson.
Yeah, caught with the ball there.
So that's about, what's at the fourth holding the ball as Sogaliski didn't have any help. That's a good mark by Lily Nast. Chip ball was okay. Will it favour a teammate? Weldon came through, and there's 3 STJFL players taking May Wayne to the ground. Very strong East Launceston side in the NTJFA this year. Ring of players in that team. Wayne again. Clever to Stubbings. Now to Weldon. High ball up towards half forward. Getting in front position. Nearly taking the mark was Murfitt. Rose on the ground. Chen turning the corner. Oh. Ball spills off the chest. It was such a great opportunity for Nichols. It's still a free ball off the ground was Main. Murfitt snapping out of the pack, and it's snuck to the right.
Gee.
Pressure footy from the NTJFA.
Well, the pressure definitely goes up in some of these rep games, and it can be a little bit scrappy sometimes with the added speed of the game compared to club footy. Yeah,
Nichols was the one in there. In fact, in the end, a lot of players around that ball. I didn't get a sight of the number. Yeah, you're right. It can be a little scrappy. It's as much to do with players playing in roles. You know, imagine there's about 20 to 30% of these girls are the prime ball mover and midfielder for their their club team and they come to representative footy and they might be playing in different positions. Quite a few bottom age players in both sides at the moment.
Where did you play in your rep footy games? Or did you not play rep footy? You weren't picked? I was picked. Played on the bench though a bit.
No, I was a basketballer. Cricketer.
Oh, really?
I had to play a bit of footy. Not tough enough, unfortunately. Up towards the middle of the ground. It's not a bad option if it can be won out by McConnell. Another touch to Cornish. Chen was up first, and then she fights for the football. And you can just see them both turn and look for the umpire. Who's got that free kick? Well, neither of you have. It's a neutral result, and we have a ball up.
Seen this young umpire around in a few games recently up here in the NTJFA. Got a name on him, but is very impressive with his umpiring.
We have the names. We'll get the name because I reckon they're in the book. Rani Milne, an improved player. The pull of the jumper on Lee Johns. I reckon that's a throw. Yeah, the umpire's picked it up. He's on the wrong side of that pack, but he was able to get eyes right into that lane and see the little throw. So a lot of players just in square. I reckon there's 2/3 of the players are actually inside the square if we can get you just to pan out for a second. There we go. They've just moved out, but I reckon 2/3 of the players are inside the square. They're sort of drifting to 15, 20 metres off the ball. Midgley. Milne for the NTJFA. And now the anti-density comes into play. So the players stay in their positions with a contested ball 25 metres out from the STJFL goal.
This is how footy should be played with the anti-density. I mean, anyway, let's not mention that again today.
You're just commenting on the game, Duff. You don't have to get into
Don't get too passionate.
And that is the noise of the first quarter gone. And it's 117 to 128. The STJFL hold a slender 1-point lead. Lily Harper with a goal. The Clarence Export and Maggie Chen from East Launceston snap one around the corner midway through that first. Really entertaining, but at times quite scrappy. When it got on the outside, it was certainly rather dangerous. Just mentioned a couple of the better players from both sides. I thought Taylor Cornish really involved throughout that game for the NTJFA. Maggie Chen got a few touches. Also involved was Maggie Dick, and also May Wayne was pretty prominent for the STJFL, who probably had a little bit more of the ball. Sarah Midgley was good early. Stevie LeJohns was great. Evie Ward was one of their better players. Lily McConnell, I thought, was engaged. Olivia Wilkinson was outstanding. And at the moment, they've got a slender 1-point lead. We'll have a break here on Dove TV at the home of football in the Northern Capital, York Park. Second quarter action coming up soon. Second quarter action, Duff TV. Aaron Roberts here, NTJFA 117, the STJFL 128. So a slender difference in the score at the moment. As was a game which probably lacked a little bit of structure at times, but had plenty of competitiveness. And once again, Evie Ward has got another contested ball. Gets it to half forward. Milne, who's been resolute in defence so far for the NTJFA. She releases out Cannell first. Bit of ping pong here in the middle of the ground. Stubbings aggressive. One of the littler players on the ground, able to get engaged. Lily Nast moves it with her feet off the turf. Set up well behind here, the STJFL. Delta Witt went to ground. She got a good contest though. Haberly, and now ground level is Weldon. Ball's kept alive. Really good job by Cannell. Or Cannell, I think it's actually Cannell.
Yeah, Cannell.
And eventually, after a lot of loose balls, the STJFL have a free kick. Maggie Chen a little high with her tackle. Goes around Maggie Dick. Now steadies the ball high up towards half forward. The back of the pack was Tillard, and she's got to play. They've got to drift back here, the NTJFA. They're going to be careful. Out the back of the pack, roving and shot on goal. That looked on track for most of its journey, but in the end it faded.
Great build-up.
Yeah, agreed. It was a fantastic build-up and a great bit of crumbing work. They've somehow got it out to the square with a couple of unconventional kicks. Barnes has got 3 players to beat. Happily had 4 players to beat. So numbers at the ball at the moment is the STJFL. Midgley first to it. She looked up and handled to a player under pressure. Ward. Pressure now from Stubbings. Geez, he's been good, Stubbings, in her defensive pressure. Haberley starting to get engaged in the game. The kick doesn't favour anyone as Martin loses it. Really taken high as Weldon slaps it out. Now it's a loose ball. They just need to be a bit composed. Haberley now on the outside, up towards half forward, but the kick didn't have a teammate's jersey in front of it, and the STJFL will repel for now. Chen misses the tackle. That created a bit of pressure as the rush ball came out. Dropped by Martin. Composed enough to then dish it back out towards Terry. Close to the boundary line. It's been kept in for now. And Weldon's been held up. And we have a ball up here, so a couple of minutes in and we're seeing a similar style of football that we did in the first quarter. Let's hope the game can pivot at some stage. We start to get some linkage play happening, which no doubt these girls are capable of doing. At the moment, it's been dominated by a couple of runners, and there's one of them. Midgley misses it. Butwell, the captain, that's good from her. Gets a teammate up and Delta Witt. Here comes Witt. Shoves the opposition, I should say, off the mark and then steadies. That's a clever kick. Haberley now looks upfield. She'll want to get onto a left boot. It's a steady kick to Chen. Wonderful passage of play by the NTJFA, and they've got a shot as the ball's been driven up towards the 50-metre line.
Courage.
At the back of the pack. It should be Nichols. Can she get it? Has she got it? No, she hasn't.
Oh, she dropped it.
In fact, it's Murphy at the end. Those 7s and 1s are really doing me in from a long distance at the moment. And a missed opportunity for Ava Murphy Duff.
Yeah, big opportunity there. But gee, wasn't it courage by the Southern defender to come across there? I don't know if you can get a replay.
Yeah, that was Burt at the last minute through a body. If she was the kitchen sink, she threw the kitchen sink at that one to ensure that was a behind. Great footy here. Opening stages of the second quarter. I hope you're enjoying it on Duff TV. It's representative football, the weekend of representative football, with the SFL finally beating the Northwest. Their first ever loss in the Women's All-Star Series yesterday at North Hobart. There's Murphy, who missed a goal a few moments ago, trying to keep the ball inside that forward 50. It's been worked out for now. Dick with a kick, gets it back again. Rigby there. Players falling over. Rigby again, can't quite grab it. There's Cornish. Geez, she's been great so far. Still a loose ball. Still anyone's football at the moment as Weldon's taken to ground. And the umpire says no chance to get rid of it.
Tell you what, it's been intense. It hasn't been pretty, but it's intense footy. It's close.
Be interested if, if a team can get a bit of a break here. Goals could start to come. Georgia Rigby's moved on the ball, as I mentioned. A decent ruck. Clash of heads. Coming out as Witt. Lost the footy under so much pressure, and the rush ball works for now. Stanway gets on a bike, drives it up towards centre half. What a mark. The big improvement in the girls' game. The kick hasn't helped her though, as Doohan got it. Contest now in the middle. Nass was there. Stubbings fighting hard against Evie Ward. It's one out for now. It's a reasonable kick. It's Sokolowski's got it. He's got a lead on at half forward. It's a long lead. It's a very effective one. Kick just a little over Martin's head. Gleeson being pushed towards the pocket. So the STJFL have finally got it down their end. It's been 5 or 6 minutes inside that defensive area for the STJFL. The quick ball in, but the NTJFA at home, and Sokolowski's kick just didn't quite have the journey. Haberley getting stuck into this contest at the moment. Hardy for the STJFL. Ball spilling out, finally now the hands of O'Rourke. And in the pocket is Lily McConnon. So we had a good shot here as Duff on the camera. And zooming right in on Lily McConnon, kicking from 20 out in the Hudson pocket. And it's drifted towards that pocket.
So what's the prize money on offer here today, Peachy?
It's just geographical naming rights, really. It's a...
Oh, there's no... Is there a cup or...
There is a... You know what? I actually don't know. There could well be. There's certainly a medal for best on ground, both teams. Not sure there actually is a cup. Maybe we need to come up with a name, and an appropriate name for that represents youth and football in either end of the state.
Gee, I'm always giving you ideas, aren't I?
Milne, not there. That might not be Milne. Yeah, actually it was Milne. Eventually the ball goes out. The ball's fallen to the ground. Dunn gets there first. Clever from Shannon Dunn from the Tamar Valley, and the kick's not got the distance. Now it's lobbed back in again. Putting some pressure on was Lee Johns. She's still got her hands involved and smothered that kick out. That's probably a push to the back. How it came over and just shoved it right in the middle of the back. One of the bottom end players for the NTJFA. There's a couple of 14-year-olds running around today as well. So Sokolowski now from 30 out, gives it plenty, drives it up towards goal, and she's got the second for the STJFL.
Go the south.
The Gibbo Cup. Something more neutral. The Tony Gibson Paul House Cup. This is a great kick. She drove this ball hard with a lot of acceleration through the kick, landing on a kicking foot as well. That's fantastic. So the second goal from the STJFL, they've got a little lead here in what is a relatively low scoring game in perfect conditions on this big expansive piece of turf. The most prized piece of grass in Australia here at York Park as a free kick's been given away. Most prized piece of grass, most precious piece of...
Oh, the most talked about as far as the condition of the ground. Is that what you're...
Well, it's just so well looked after and cared for. Neither team able to get a disposal amongst 30 seconds of pretty frenetic footy. Looked like Stanway came in front of a teammate and she got in her way. Rani Milne again's having a great game in defence. This can get out the back here. Look out for Stubbings. And then she goes, can't get it. the ball's just at the knees of the players. Eventually they fall over as Burt couldn't pick it up. And we've managed to move the ball a little further forward, just at centre half here for the NTJFA. Good by Hart. Spilt by Haberley. And Richardson, who's been a stellar player for Prospect, now looks like she might be running near the ball. I think that's a good decision. A couple of players clash. They're okay. Driving ball up towards half forward. NTJFA looking to try and get a few more numbers around it. Coax move forward for them. Taj Richardson getting a second touch. You can see the numbers here from the STJFL. The metrics are with them when the ball's at ground level. That would mean that Haberley's got a chance with that kick out. It's a wide ball from her, using every inch of the ground. And eventually she found the white line. And it should be an NTJFA kick. No, the umpire actually pointed the wrong way. It looked like it came off the handle from Haberley. So last touch rule here between the arcs.
What's your take on the last touch rule?
Yeah, I love it. Now and again, the boundary umpires still got to play a role, don't they? They know when the ball's out, and there's a couple of...
We're back. Back on air here, ladies and gentlemen. Just a momentary little blip in the radar.
Great mark by Lee Johns. He's going to get it up to the warm spot, not quite the hot spot. Rose. Harper standing up in the tackle. The numbers on the outside, a little sloppy for the NTJFA. Look at those 4 girls in the back of the pack here. A little bit too much ball watching at the moment from the NTJFA. It might still work. That's brilliant. The Bork drives the ball out towards the back area. It didn't get enough distance. Hardy in there. Now it's been pinched out here by Stanway. Tight, gets it driving up. Maggie Chen at the back. She's relieving at the moment, and she's playing a defensive role. And a minor. So nearly 15 gone, second quarter action. The NTJFA have probably dominated the first 4 or 5 minutes, but since then it's been mostly up the STJFL's end. Rigby at ground level forces the ball to the floor. Looked like Witt might have given a free kick away then, but the umpire said no, it's okay. Now we're going to have a throw up. So 128 to 26. 18, so 8 scoring shots to 3 probably is a fair indication. The STJFL, which were dominated by the Northerners for quite a few years in this rep footy, of turning the tide the last season or so. Hart. Sophie Mead now on the ball. Good to see her at the footy. Kukoak now tapping herself. It's clever. Not a bad option to get on the ball. She can get involved in the game. Played a starring role in last year's NTJFA under-14s grand final. That's a throw, isn't it? Not called by the umpire. Chip over the top. There's a player over the top. She can pass it to her as Rose has got it. And she's going to go back and take a set shot. See the build-up. Rose from straight in front. Has no problem whatsoever. And Josie Rose has got the third on the board. And there is a honk, a very short honk too. Nearly like a surprise. If you see this replay, the last goal again, the juggling mark, Chen was out of position, unfortunately. She was trying to cover 2 players, and right the death knells of the first half, Josie Rose scores a goal. So quickly just through those goal kickers. Harper the other, and Sokolowski also kicked a goal from a set shot from the right pocket, and only the goal kicker, just the one in that first quarter, was Maggie Chen. So all 4 goals have been hard work for both sides. We'll just list a couple of the better players for both teams. I thought Sarah Midgley's had a good first half. Evie Ward's been close to the best player. Lily McConnon always engaged around the ball and trying to drive it forward. Sokolowski played a really good second quarter. I thought she was starting to get a bit of a hand on the ball, and Bingham at times, particularly that first quarter, was particularly good. May Wayne had a really good first quarter. Shannon Dunn was good down back.
I thought Rose was really good.
Rani Milne was good off half back also for the NTJFA. Haverley's probably their best on ground. She got onto the ball and really started to get involved. Witt now and again. And just for a few moments, Georgia Rigby in the ruck got first use to her team, but at times a little scrappy, at times lacking a little structure, but it's close. It's 1-2-8 to 3-6-24. Just in the last 5 or 6 minutes, the STJFL were able to get a little bit of momentum into their game and got a couple of goals in that last 5 or 6 minutes. We'll have a break here on Duff TV as the girls have a bit of a rest, some communication from their coaches, and let's see what the NTJFA can do here in the second half.
Go this.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Let's talk about speeding. Sewage, check that out. Views are beautiful down here. Did you see that?
Jeez, Badge, I reckon I missed it. You just flew by.
When you're in control of a vehicle, you need to be aware of your speed.
What's the speed limit?
Oh, it's 100. Oh, you're right. I'm a touch over. Be mindful of others and always travel within the speed limit.
Remember, Badge, we're not the only ones on the road.
That's a good call, man. I'll slow it down a bit.
So, do we do this old businessman? It's a bit stiff, this tripod today. Oh, yeah, Trudy.
There's some really simple things you can do to keep you safe on the roads.
Chatty!
Carlos, where you going, brother?
I'm just going for a KFC run.
Forget anything?
Just putting on a seatbelt will lower the risk of injury or even save your life.
Your seatbelt, you buffhead.
Oh, it's just 2 minutes down the road.
Yeah, but you better be safe than sorry.
We lose too many people that could have survived if they were wearing a seatbelt. Buckle up.
There's only one more thing I'm going to ask of you.
What do you want?
You know what I want? The wicked wings.
I'll get you some wicked wings.
I'll get you next time.
Boss the NTJ.
Let's talk about driving when you're tired.
Mate, how good? What a game.
80-point turnaround. That was amazing.
You must be feeling pretty good. Kick 5.
7.
3 from the goal square.
Says you, that's half your career.
How are you feeling now? It's a fair drive.
To be honest, I'm pretty knackered. When you're behind the wheel, you need to be alert.
We'll maybe throw us the keys.
Yeah, at least go for the first half.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let someone else drive when you're tired and share the journey.
You get the boot, about time you do something.
Driver fatigue is a major cause of accidents on the road. Break your journey, share the driving, and know your limits.
This year, we're proud to be partnering with the Road Safety Advisory Council to launch the Road Safety Advisory Council Tassie Hawks Cup.
Over the next few months, you'll be playing in your local school competition, and we can't wait to see the goals you'll be kicking.
The cloud spins. What a start for Saints.
If you make it through your regional comp, you could end up playing here at UTAS Stadium in front of friends and family at our Road Safety Advisory Council Tassie Hawks Cup Gala Day.
Let's talk about getting distracted while you're driving.
Have you checked to see who's playing this week?
Mate, you'll be fine. Stop checking the phone. Mate,
I want to know if you're playing.
Stop.
When you're driving, you've got to keep your wits about you. It's too easy to be distracted.
Hey mate, can you just pass me my phone?
Your phone.
I want to check who's playing this week.
But you're driving. There's enough distractions on the road already without you causing your own.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Better safe than sorry.
Okay, you check it then.
Yeah, I'll check.
Let's talk about driving and alcohol.
Frosty's 30th this weekend. You know it's going to be a huge one. What are we thinking? Are we going to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. If you're thinking of having a big one, you must plan ahead.
Obviously, we're going to go. How do we get there?
I'm thinking I'm not going to drink, so I'm happy to drive us if you want.
That's so smart. It's a great idea.
Don't take risks. It won't only ruin your night, it could ruin your life.
Better to crash on the couch than on the road.
Done.
The Road Safety Advisory Council and the Hawthorn Footy Club come together
To reach our goal of 0 deaths,
and serious injuries on our roads.
but we can't do it alone.
We need our supporters to help reach this goal. Slow down,
Buckle up.
put your phones away, and make sure to never drive when you're tired or after drinking.
So second half action, Duff TV, representative football, NTJFL versus the STJFL, Aaron Robertson. Now and again, you hear the dulcet tones of Martin Duff just chipping in and adding what's usually interesting facts.
Right.
But anyway, we're away. Really curious though, the STJFL actually went off the ground. Don't see that very often in football these days, particularly in the girls' footy. As the effects mic now comes back into play, the STJFL getting a couple of goals late, which gave them the advantage at the moment. Can the NTJFA respond? The ball's just on the far wing at the moment. Low ball inside half forward. Martin was the one who decided to take him off the ground, so that was and the ball's worked towards the forward pocket. So 8-24. So the NTJFA need to get an early one here.
You wouldn't get that in Fox TV, would you? You know, just a break in the commentary for about 20 seconds. Although I tell you what, I'd encourage it when BT's commentating.
Well, yeah, or someone was requiring me to do something. I had to stop commentating. Usually I have a bit of help, but everyone's on holidays at the moment. Couldn't get anyone to give me assistance in the commentary box, so unfortunately I've got my voice all day. Haberley in the pocket, gets it up towards half forward. The ball's been dropped by Wayne. It's now out of bounds. So a little bit of energy for the NTJFA. We'll see if Fox, the coach from Prospect, can turn things around. Some movement of players. That's nearly holding the football. So you see, went to ground. Yes, that is holding the football, then got back up again.
Listen to you. You're so going for the north. I can't believe it.
I'm a Northwesterner originally, so
yeah.
I've lived everywhere. I'm a Tasmanian, Duff. I probably should be living in Tunbridge. Tunbridge. Probably a little too far out. No, not a little too far out, but it lacked some direction and a minor.
So it's the King's birthday weekend. Is that what it is? It's hard. It doesn't really roll off the tongue anymore, does it? The King's birthday weekend. Holiday in Tasmania tomorrow. Here goes the South streaming out of the fullback.
It's a decent run, was it? Hart's in best position, can't mark it. Now she's got to fight for the ball while it's on the turf. She manages that, and it's a run from Bingham. Her jump has been grabbed. She handballs out wide to LeJohns. I keep saying her name too quick, like it's one. It is hyphenated. It is Lee Johns, not LeJohns. McConnell with the helmet.
Oh, there's my player, Rose. BOG at the moment for Rose. She really got the STJFL moving.
She had 5 minutes of real purple footy then. Now it's inside the forward 50. One-on-one contest. Neither player can get it. Kikoak at the back. Gets a hands to that one. And now it's just on the turf, and it'll be a ball up. 1-3 to 3-6. You have to be a little bit fair, Duff. You won't be invited back past Oatlands if you're too biased.
They'll get you filming the footy, Peachy.
I did VMix once, the replays of scores and commentator. I was horrendous at it. Don't get me filming as well. Got no chance. You got those, what are those cameras there everyone's got at the moment, the automatic ones?
Oh, yeah, it's we're out of a job almost.
Yeah, but you lose the vibe, don't you?
Oh.
The extra vibe. The ball's at the half-forward line. That was a good kick. Haberley's going to get it first. She just needs to sit for it. She looked for a teammate, and she needed to get it back into her left. And because of all of that energy, she's turned it over. Evie Ward's got a touch. McConnell into the pocket. Hardy chasing it down. The railway workers wing. I don't know if they're going to keep that. I feel like, I think it's staying still with the redevelopment. It'd be a shame, wouldn't it? It's a good spot to watch the game from. Just the one person over there at the moment enjoying the shade. That's a shot across the face of the goal. Chasing it down as Lee Johns. She was tackled, but she still gets it inside the ground, nearly off the ground by Tilliard. She goes again to try and get the footy. McConnell trying to squeeze it through a narrow gap. It's still somehow in play. And it's been smothered. Frenetic football here. Lee Johns turning it around the corner. Turned it a little bit too far. So energetic passage of play. It's a decent shot on goal under some pressure. So back into action. The kick needs to stay in and eventually it goes out of bounds. It'll be an STJFL kick. I think that footy's gone down that little gap. How's this? Can't get the camera on that Duff. Let's go. The player there, she's going to end up down in the gap. Oh no, she came back with the footy. I had to do that the other day when I was at that Hawthorn game. In fact, it's been touched by both players. One of the kids put the Oz kick ball down there, the halftime Oz kick ball. I saw him do it. He deliberately did it. He was only about 3. I gave him a break. Crashing over the ball was Lee Johns. She's had a couple of good minutes. I think she's a little sore too. She copped the knock a little earlier, a couple of minutes ago. Gets up okay. In fact, that's not Lee Johns, that's Bingham. They both, I think, copped a bit of a knock. Sophie Mead on the edge of the pack. Haverly trying to use brute force. She'll get the handball back again. She'll work it onto her left. The problem is she's gone backwards. It was a dangerous kick to a couple of players. Maggie Chen, McConnon, off the ground, drives it in towards her half-forward line. She goes again, tries to tackle it, only takes a shirt off. Jane Atkins. Ward now steadies towards goal. 1-on-1. Kikoak at front position. She gets the ball to ground. Pressure
Rose.
here. Swinging around in Tilliard. She's going to steady and a brilliant smother at the last bit. Wow. What a smother. We're going to have a ball up here. And Arnie did a good job then. It's still loose footy. One way, two ways. And unfortunately, it's gone across the face. And in fact, it might have actually just gone out of bounds in the full. You and me used to being this high up, Duff, when you film. You know, back of the ute sometimes, at ground level, little rinkety old grandstands. The top of, I think the Dunny block at TCA ground's a favourite spot for you.
For sure.
And maybe the best spot of all. Didn't you stand on top of a tin shed a few times, which probably breached some health and safety rules? And obviously,
as I polled on the kilos there, they said don't stand there anymore, please, sir.
You've got a little bit of infrastructure at Kingborough down there on the beach oval there. They built a little platform, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
You've been advocating for the other 78 grounds in Tasmania to all have a Duff TV platform, but we're in the best spot possible here at York Park. Terry gets some space. Evie Ward to it first. Looks up. She's got a lead on in the pocket. She decides a longer option is a better one. The ball spilled free here.
Rose.
Another handball to her. She's trying to set up her teammates. And that's probably going to be holding the football as O'Rourke tried to bust away through. You're right, Rose has had a building into the games. Very strong footballer. NTJFA struggling to get this outside their defensive 50 at the moment. Rose again for an up-team touch for her. Butwell, they get it out for now. Waiting underneath her is Wayne, and she's taken a wonderful contested mark. There aren't a lot of options. So she looks up further afield. Witt's calling out for it, but it's gone over her head. Out the back of the pack, Witt again. The ball's under some pressure. Tried to slap forward. Witt might get this ball back again. Cornish. Witt at the knees. Stubbings. Finally being picked up by Wayne, and then she gets dragged down by Sokolowski, who kicked a goal in that second quarter. Now she's doing defensive work. Great tackle. Ward with it. He's got a player over the top.
Oh, they're away here, the South.
Stanway looks up. She's got another player up further field. 2-on-1 contest. But in the way was done. Rigby in there. Tried to lay a little bit of pressure. It was unsuccessful. Murfitt. Lily Nass with a bit of class. Long time waiting under the footy was Nichols. It's gone over her head. It's inside the half-forward area for the NTJFA. It might be pushed out pretty quickly here by Terry. Nichols. Juggling ball. Some aggressive on the ground, rugby style, and now we've got contested ball 40 out. Nass with 2 hands to it. Pinching it at the pack was Sokolowski, and she finds Midgley.
Just too good, the South, I think, Peachy, today.
Set up a little well. They're better players around the ball. They just have a bit stronger too at the contest. People like Rose as being one of those players. Haberley's trying her best at the moment to keep them involved in the game. O'Rourke for the STJFL. Then the little block. That's clever. That's better system. High ball inside their forward 50. O'Rourke on her knees. McConnon. Harper. Those players have been called quite a bit today. And finally, Doohan kills it for now, 20 out. Can the NTJFA get some sort of system and a bit of linkage? It's not necessarily going to help them at all. Sophie Mead starting to win a bit of the football. Not a lot of options to kick to. There's a fair bit of yelling out at the moment. But out of all of that, was nearly marked by Rose. She got the ball in an uncontested spot, was unable to hold on to it. Butwell in the middle, she's pushing the back. She got released the footy. Then a bit of a high one from Wayne. It's kept moving forward. Martin in there for the STJFL. Nichols goes backwards, finds Stubbings, who then goes a high ball. Plenty of time for that ball to eventually come down from the clouds. Burt with a handball. Now back out to Stubbings. Pressure again from Burt. And eventually, the ball on the ground. Now the chips have come into the commentary box. Very difficult to commentate, vMix, or use your camera. The most controversial bit about this, no chips and gravy, it's just chips and tomato sauce. The gravy probably doesn't suit vegans, so.
Where is the best canteen for food in Tasmania?
There's a
Tasmanian footy. That's
shocked.
a great competition. There's another one for you at AFL Tasmania.
Well, why don't you, Duff? You go to probably more games around the state than I do. I was shown an Instagram influence, let's call it that, in inverted commas, who does a chips and gravy on the mainland. She goes around the grounds and rates them. I think there's something in that. If that's a full-time job, maybe going forward for someone. Best chips and gravy. How do they get in contact with us, Jerry? Just what do they do? Do we Facebook? I haven't been on Twitter for about 2 years. I think I've been banned. Hart looks up and not going anywhere. What a tackle by Jane Atkins. Kick's not going to help though. That's it.
Yeah, they've just been bombing it out sometimes, the North.
Yeah, they don't have enough lead-up players from that. Or even their half-forwards can sneak up a little bit. Jane Atkins again. She gets knocked off the ball by McConnor, but the boundary line wanders into play. There's a couple of good chips and gravy in the North. I'm a big fan of the chips and gravy at Longford. They're pretty steady here too, or have been in the past.
A bit cold. Just quietly.
Yeah, well, that's because you've got sauce on it. It's cooled your chips down. Burt. Pressure now from Nichols. It's had a good quarter. They break out here, the NTJFA. There's one-on-ones further up the ground. They can managed to break free. We've got Butwell in the middle of the ground, just standing still at the moment. Cornish with a handball out, gets to a one-on-one. That's a good contest at half forward. Spinning out of the tackle was Martin. Sophie Mead on the ground level, and a thump from Lily Nass. And eventually the umpire will give it a break.
The best coffee is definitely Boyer Oval, New Norfolk.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
The special coffee.
The special coffee.
The special coffee. You have to know the right person to ask for the special coffee. I tell you what.
You give them a little wink and you pay an extra $3, I think.
It is a strange... It's actually coming to gate, isn't it?
It's not advertised.
Isn't it the bloke at the front, the gate at Boyer, that's got a special ingredient to keep you a bit warmer on a cold day at Boyer? I mean, 30 years I've been trying to do that grandstand up. I think it's nearly rotten at the base, isn't it? Ball at half forward to get back to the junior stuff. Lily Nast, another touch for her. Leading up well at the moment, Wayne. She looks like a real chance. At the last minute. The NTJFA would have scored one. Not against a runner play because it's gone between half back and half forward for the majority of the game. See this replay again. The ball spilt past Wayne and the quick kick forward. Look at that. She snuck out the back of the pack and unfortunately the hooter went. So no major progression of the score. It's 1-3-9 to 3-7-24. So a goalless third quarter from both sides. Once again, the goal kickers Lee Harper, Sokolowski and Josie Rose, and Maggie Chen was the solitary goal kicker about the 7-minute mark. It's a long time ago. They've had a few opportunities, but that was a bit of a barren quarter from a scoring opportunity for the Northerners. A few of the better players for both sides. Sarah Midgley still doing a good job. Lee Johns I thought was great. Evie Ward's, I reckon, had 20+ touches. Lily McConnon, the co-captain's been absolutely fantastic. And Josie Rose is probably the other player who was forceful, really dangerous when the ball was in their forward 50. It seemed like she could do anything. Butwell got involved. Look, May Wayne looks good at times. Jay Atkins on half-back was great. Lily Nass started to move that auxiliary type player into the middle of the ground. I thought she was good. Rani Mills been good down back for most of the game. Haberley's probably been the NTJFA's best. Dealt a win on a couple of occasions. You felt she was getting involved in the game and trying to get her team back on level scoring, but at the moment it's the STJFL with a comfortable lead here in the representative game. We have a break here on Duff TV. We hope we have a last quarter which can get this game tight. It's been scrappy, intense, competitive girls football, and we'll see what might happen in this representative game. Back soon. Last quarter action, Duff TV, Aaron Roberts in the commentary position, and we were able to hear a rousing speech and chant and excitement from the NTJFA, and I've just had a look at their coach Craig Fox's profile, and I think I know the reason for that.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I'm a great dancer, so that just says something about Craig, and let's see if the NTJFA can start to dance their way towards the goals and get a couple. Evie Ward, another touch. 24th touch, I've been told by the statistician here for her today. Handball out wide to Lily Nass. He drives it out half forward line. Maggie Chen at the back, waiting under us is Taj Richardson. She couldn't quite mark the ball. McConnon then. She's got a couple of NTJFA players to beat, and she can't. It's held up here. There's Alana Nichols involved. Great spirit amongst both these sides. Ward with a quick kick out. Hardy at ground level. Bang! Hardy taken to the ground. The tackling strength of these players is really advanced. Lee Johns goes backwards to me. She then goes forwards. Trying to find Harper in the pocket. Basketball bounce to herself. Milne on her knees, grappling for the football. It may have gone out then. Still a loose football. Dunn trying to burst away through. And McConnon gets some pressure from Murphy. It's still a live football. And eventually, the umpire will say, I'll just take it. Bang. It's a good tackle. That's a great tackle. Too easily out of the pack. Turning around the corner. And another missed opportunity for the South.
That would have been just about the third nail in the coffin there.
Going to have to start to get the action going, because it's a 17-point deficit at the moment. So 3 goals needed minimum here. They've only kicked 1, and that was in the first 7 minutes. Murphy was able to break away from Mead. Nichols now trying to find Badcock. This is a better build-up from the NTJFA. They need a few more players. Haberley needs to get in there and give us some help. McCulloch spun around, but the kick was off. It made some changes. Hikayek's gone forward. She might be back again here. Witt. The Dick. High ball. Great grab. That's McCulloch. So McCulloch has it. Decent kick. Is certainly within range. Played some good football for North Launceston this year. Just getting rid of that hair over her left shoulder. Good set shot generally. Looks like it's been hooked. Would need that to be a goal, or can they still keep some pressure on here, the NTJFA? Get a couple more players inside and keep it in that defensive area, or they're forward 50 for a period of time. Lee Johns has travelled a fair way. Chen with the tackle. They've done a good job here, the NTJFA. The bounce of the ball didn't come back. Lily Nass now. Here's an opportunity. Witt out wide. Haberley. Left foot rushed. Effective enough. Main. Witt again. Main for a second time. Great pressure from Cannell. Haberley gets some space onto a left, drives it into the pocket. Hikayek was at the back, unfortunately, and Rawson comfortably taking the defensive mark. Rawson under it for a while. Managed to get through there was Bingham. McConnon went to handball to a teammate and didn't release it. I reckon that's a throw, is it? No, it's a little scrag of the jumper. She's going to get a free. Got a couple of options here, McConnon. More of an up-the-line ball in the end. Tilliard couldn't get it. That's probably holding the ball. Either that or it might have been high. McConnon reaches again for the football. Just got a toe to it. Good call by the umpire. Lily Nass standing up tall in the tackle. She's a handball out wide. Somehow the ball manages to fall back in her hands. And she's trying to use every bit of her leverage to keep it in her space, but the umpire's going to chuck it up in the shadows here in front of the Western stand. Mead with a heavy fist into that one. McConnon onto it first. Lily Nass can't get it. Evie Ward driving it up towards half forward. Rani Milne's going to get there first. She just spills the ball as pressure comes from Harper. Still gets away, Rani Milne. Wonderful football, but the kick's a miss. Straight to Lee Johns. Miss by Tilliard. In the end, eventually, out of bounds, left pocket. So Delta Witt is the dangerous player for the NTJFA at the moment. He'd love to have her a little deeper, but she needs to get up the field to get involved. Jane Atkinson. Good from Maggie Chen. Pushed off it was Martin. And it's the STJFL will have the last touch. I don't think they realise it's their kick. Martin's going, hey, no, it's yours. No, not mine. Now it's Gleeson. Some risk in that kick. Nichols held up nicely. Floaty ball inside the forward 50. Shannon Dunn first to it. Rush ball out. That's a dangerous ball. It's got out the back here. Tight in the pocket. Harper, did she get a toe to it? Yes, I think she did.
She did.
And that'll be the sealer. The boot polish on the boot in the end. And 2 goals for Lily Harper from Clarence. So this second ball was the one that caused the trouble. As Shannon Dunn drove it out. But this is a good return kick. Long, deep entries really help. It was a good battle in the square, but there it is. Just got a foot. The very last little bit of toenail into the shoe. Maybe she's got to size up and able to get it through the goal. So 4-8 to 1-4. It's a 22-point lead. It's probably been a little closer than that. And a good second half from Lily Nast. McConnell off the ground into the pocket. There's Harper, the multiple goal kicker on the ground. Such a valuable asset. Look at the smile on their faces, having a good old laugh. There's Rani Milnouse to go back and get in the ruck. She's got to take on McConnell. McConnell, that meant she got 2 hands to it. Bingham. Hart now. Found a player just in defence. Nichols goes short. Bit of a jump from Weldon, but she wasn't able to hang on to it. She went a second time. The handball came out by Martin. This is where the NTJFA have been pretty good. They're ground level, they've been really committed to the contest. It's just been those little bit more skilled or composed around the football to get some better entries inside their area. And I think the forward 50 entries are, I think you're up by about 8 or 9 at the moment. There's another one. Dunn, I reckon, might be holding the ball then. No, the umpire, benefit of the doubt. The boys' game coming up next. It's been a few years since the NTJFA were that competitive. And I did mention the other day, should the NTJFA combine with the Northwest Football League to make it a true north v south, what that would do is there's 125-ish thousand people living in the Tamar Valley northeast and 250, 260 in the south. So it seems like a more of an even contest as we bring in the Northwest juniors or the Northwest youth players. So Skolsky does well then, out of bounds. I think it's going to be a throw up here, so it wasn't clear who had the last touch. I reckon she was a little unlucky to Skolsky. She nearly initially taken high. Umpire had a different opinion. Weldon with a rush ball. Looking for Cornish. Murphy tapping in front of herself. Ward being a pest around that ball. Burt, rush ball inside half forward. Is that a little push in the back? Maybe dismissed by the umpire. Tilliard over the top. Another snap towards goal. Another minor score. So last 4 or 5 minutes of this representative game. To me, it's going to be a clear back-to-back for the STJFL. The college gets that one. You can see what she's doing. She's trying to get the ball back over the top. Unfortunately, it just came off a toe and it caused a bit of pressure. And Sokolski managed to kill it for a half forward here.
I think time in possession, it's probably been split, don't you think?
Yeah, I think the ball's just those extra quality players around the ball, and there's one of them. Sokolski's been outstanding today throughout this game. I know she got called holding the ball a minute ago, but her tackling work, commitment, Rani Mills been good. Just sneaking through was Rose. I reckon she deserves that. Martin Duffy's favourite player from Kingborough kicks her second goal.
Yeah, been a little bit quieter in this second half, maybe. Had a really good second quarter, but coming into play there, that's just a really, really good result.
Yeah, that energy level, that commitment from the defenders for the NTJFA just starting to wane.
The body language. Heads down, is
well,
it, Peachy?
we're nearly halfway through youth footy seasons throughout the state. There's a lot for these players to play for in their junior clubs, and opportunities for representative football for the state as well.
Oh, there's your BOG. Right there.
Bit of commitment too from Rose.
Nice.
Canal now maybe too far out. Just got a couple of players in the square. They've got their hands up, just shielding their eyes from the sunshine. 35 out. It's good contact. It's coming back. It's a goal.
Oh, she's a quality player.
So running away with it now with Cannell with a driving shot from 35. It was a good pass in the end and a good position from her. And this probably is an unfair scoreline, 1-4 to 6-9. I don't feel like in general play it's been that big a difference, but that's a fine finish with that left to right fade. Eventually weight of numbers from the STJFL was a little bit too much to combat.
Just streaming out of the middle now, aren't they?
There's a little nudge, didn't get called. Cannell was there first, the goal kicker from moments ago. Barr, Milne, it's been fantastic. Had a lot of work to do in this second half. Rose engaged still. Does not want anyone else to have the football. And she gives it back to the umpire, 30 out.
Now she's up in the ruck.
She's doing the blot and lot at the moment. If Peter Kundal was commentating with me.
She's a gun.
It's going to be a tough one for Best on, but it's, at the moment, Jane Atkins for the NTJFA's got it.
This is the kick that's let them down today.
Yeah, and
out of defence.
And there's a short option on. That's a strange kick because she actually had Cannell further up. She could have passed to her, decided to go the other way. Murfitt. Cannell drives it up towards the goals. It's fading to the left again. She's having a little purple patch at the moment. Could have had 3 or 4 goals. 6-10, 46 to 1. 4-10 here. I was about to say that Bennett's Petroleum scoreboard or something on Bakehouse, Best Bakehouse, a few different sponsors over the journey.
Brighton's Best Bakehouse, one of our supporters for the STJFL, Duff TV.
Happily. It's had a fine game. It's touched off the back, off the boot.
Jackson Motor Company, a former sponsor of ours, great partner. Anybody out there wants to get involved in sponsoring our live streams, just get on to Jerry at duftv.com.au.
Dying stage of the game through Milne's fingers. Barr trying to get it. Ward in there as well. There's a lot of players around it. Great little handball. Busting through was Bingham. And that is the end of the game. There's a free kick right in the depth. It was going to the NTJFA for holding the football. The commanding result on the scoreboard for the Southern Tasmanian Junior Football League. 6-10-46 to the NTJFA. 1 goal, 4-10, and it seemed like ages ago that the NTJFA got their goal. Mostly, though, it was a relatively even game between the two half forwards, but the ability for the STJFL to get that effective ball at the back, gain a little bit more meterage and have some deeper entries into a forward line which had multiple goal kickers, and Josie Rose with 2, Lily Harper with 2 goals. You felt Cannell could have kicked several. She kicked just the 1 goal in that quarter. Sogolowski was also dangerous when she moved forward. She also kicked a goal. So there were their 6 goal kickers and a single for Maggie Chen, as we mentioned early in that first quarter. Just start with the better players for the NTJFL. I thought May Wayne tried hard all day. Probably a try hard, it's probably not the right phrase. She was dangerous when the ball was inside the forward line, but needed a little bit more support. Jane Atkins was also good, the VC from North Launceston. Shannon Dunn from up the valley had a fine game, move forward, move back. Lillian Nasser's second half was outstanding. Rani Mill was probably the best defender for the NTJFA. Maggie Chen, a couple of times, she looked dangerous. Delta Witt was good when it went forward, but probably the best was Haberly. Jura was magnificent, the Launceston player. She was so committed throughout the day and got excess of 20 touches. Lily Harper's 2 goals, the STJFL made sure that she got a mention. Lee Johns was really good. Evie Ward was the highest possession winner on the ground for the day. Evie Bingham, I thought, was great. Lily McConnon wasn't too far behind. She got over 20 touches and was absolutely fantastic. Brandy Sogolowski from New Norfolk kicked a goal, looked dangerous at different stages, really engaged and probably close to the best on ground, if not the best on ground. Josie Rose was outstanding. She kicked a couple of goals. She was brutal in the way that she attacked the football.
Great.
She was
great player. Centre half forward.
Really good hands. Brought teammates into the game. She certainly was a standout today. In the end, the score was 6-10, 46-1-4-10 was the NTJFA. So the Southerners get the first one on the whiteboard, and no doubt Jim Horn, Tony Gibson and others will be pretty excited by that. But we've got another game coming up. It's the under-16 boys. Representative football here on Duff TV. The boys game coming up next. Don't go away. We hope you're enjoying the action.